Hey, good morning everyone. Sorry I'm a little out of breath. I'm hiking up and out of town, and per usual, it's always a very steep, long climb leaving these towns. Anyway, we went into Bethel yesterday, stayed at a campground there, was able to shower, get some good food, do a resupply, and met a lot of really awesome folks. There was some really cool trail angels that gave us hitch into town and back out of town. So, love seeing the towns that embrace the hikers like that. It's really awesome. So today we're getting a kind of a late start. It's already 1 o'clock. And so we'll probably only do somewhere between 5 to 10 miles. Like I said, it's a lot of elevation today, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. It's the thing about Maine, there are a lot of routes everywhere. It's a lot of navigating around that sort of stuff. All right, like no joke, Maine is incredibly beautiful. It's like every turn that we make, it's views like this. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we only made about 6 miles out of town. It was a nice day. We spent a little bit longer in town than what we intended. Didn't really get onto trail until about 1 o'clock. We hiked until about 6 and only went about 6 miles. So that shows you in southern Maine, you're even at this point in our trail legs, I mean, we are going maybe 1 mile an hour, a little bit over 1 mile an hour. And it's just because the elevation, the trail itself, you're climbing up over boulders and rocks, and when you're descending, the rocks are very slick. So you have to go very slow and safely down these boulders. So it definitely slows you down. But today, again, we're just always kind of pushing as far as we can. The goal is probably going to be around maybe 13 to 15 miles. But it is really just until we get to about 6 o'clock and the sun starts going down. That's when we stop. So did get out a little bit earlier today than normal. I think we woke up as soon as the sun started rising. We were able to get out of camp before 7 o'clock even. And I think that's just what we're gonna have to do. Unfortunately, we now only have like, I think 10 or 11 hours of sunlight every day. So we gotta make the most out of those daylight hours. Obviously we could night hike. I'm not a big fan of it. I hate getting to camp and getting to the shelter and not really having my bearings. Trying to set up when other people are sleeping already. I mean, I was in bed at 7:30 last night. Sun was down, I was asleep. So I think we got like 100 more miles of difficult trail. Then we should be cruising on in. The remaining 100, 150 on into Katahdin. I always hate when the trail is not very well maintained. This is where you can get ticks. And it's always frustrating having to bushwhack through the leaves here. It's something I've noticed a lot more here in New Hampshire and Maine, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Something that you almost always struggle with on the AT. I was chatting with a guy that was in my group. He's done the PCT and the CDT already. He said this was not the case on those other trails, but on the AT, it's so humid that your clothes like never dry out. You can hang them up at night, you can keep them in your tent, put them in your sleeping bag. It's just so humid that nothing ever dries. It's very frustrating. You're just always wet, even when it's kind of cold out. Unfortunately, it's not hot. It's not super cold right now, but it's definitely a little chilly in the morning, and so you wake up and you have to put on a cold shirt, cold pants, cold wet pants. It's never fun, but that's what you gotta deal with on the AT. Each trail has its own difficulties. I'm sure the PCT and CDT have their own, but on the AT, expect to always be kind of soggy and wet always. All right, so apologize for the video quality. I think the rain and humidity is making it kind of foggy, but the rain is starting to come down now. And you know, it's funny because I'm just gonna opt to not even put on my rain jacket because I am so soaking wet already just from the sweat and the humidity that there's no reason to put on a rain jacket. Actually, be kind of nice to get my shirt cleaned by the rain. Rain jackets too, they end up turning into saunas. It's just not worth it to even put it on. So I'm just gonna hike in the rain, as is. This is really cool. You can see all the raindrops on the pond here. I love all these little ponds here up in Maine. They're all over the place. It's really cool. Just untouched by man. It's really awesome. All right, so the weather got a little bit better. Started clearing up a bit. I think it is supposed to rain tonight though. So we decided to only go about 15 miles total. The trail's been quite a bit better than the past several weeks. So we actually were able to make quite good time because we're able to move on the trail quite a bit. It is a lot of elevation, but at least there's just not boulders and roots everywhere and just really difficult terrain. So 15-ish miles today. We're gonna get to the campsite in about 1 more mile, set up early so that we don't get hit by the storm. It should be coming at about 7 o'clock tonight. Right now it's about 4:45, almost 5 o'clock. So should be a nice evening. Hopefully we'll stay nice and dry. Might be able to get a little bit of fire going for a bit so we can dry out our clothing. But yeah, it's pretty much all downhill from here. Hey, good morning everyone. So last night was a lot of fun. We camped right next to a road that would take you into Andover. And one of the guys in our group, he was turning 27 yesterday. It was his birthday. So we decided to have a little pizza party. We surprised him. He was a little ways behind. And so one of the guys in our group went into town, picked up some pizzas, and we had a little pizza party at our tent site. So that was a lot of fun. It was a nice relaxing evening. We had a fire going. And we ended up doing about 15 miles yesterday. So did a pretty good job there on mileage. The trail is getting much easier, thankfully. Today we've got a pretty large ascent for about 3 miles. And after that, it should be pretty cruisy. So I'm looking forward to an easier day. I think we're trying to do like 16 or 17 miles today. So definitely the most that we've done in probably a month now with the trail the way it is. All right, so I clearly spoke too soon. It's been misting all day. After we got up to elevation, the big climb in the morning, it's just been non-stop mud and rocks and roots. We're going so slow again. It's ridiculous how bad the trail is. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but it's like you're not even walking on dirt. It's just constant rocks and roots. So sorry for the camera. It's so humid, it's so misty and humid and everything. There's just no point in me trying to even wipe off the camera. I can barely use my phone right now because it's so wet. It's just another one of those days. It's supposed to get really cold tomorrow too. So we've been trying to be very careful about not allowing anything to get wet. I think Rangeley is tomorrow. Be able to go in town, maybe hopefully do some laundry and shower, maybe get out of the cold and the rain. Oh, Maine is like a final boss. It really is. It's like, you know, you had mud in Vermont, you had rocks in Pennsylvania, you had elevation in New Hampshire, you had roots in Georgia, and in Maine, they're just like, let's just put them all together into one. And here you go. Here's 270 miles of it. Oh, so frustrating. All right, so I ended up having a lunch at a shelter, and it was perfect timing because it started pouring down rain as soon as I got to the shelter. But I was able to get some good food in me, recharge on water, and I'm feeling a lot better now. Earlier it was pretty rough, so I think I'm lost now. Perfect. Feeling much better. This afternoon, we do still have like 8 miles to go, which is a lot, but it's gonna take us to another shelter. I think it's supposed to rain tonight again, so it'd be nice to be able to be warm and dry. I must say though, it's really pretty hiking right now. The way that the sun is shining through the trees makes for a really awesome experience. All right, so I'm currently night hiking. Maybe only about half a mile left until the shelter, thankfully. It is starting to sprinkle a little bit and it is cold, unfortunately. So hopefully I can get set up quick and get warm and dry. It's been a long day. I think we're going to be finishing at like 17 miles, which is good. We got to be doing like 15 every day to make it to Katahdin before the end of the month. Hey, good morning, everyone. If you can't tell by how bundled up I am right now, it is freezing cold. Mother Nature was so kind to us that they decided to pour rain on us all day yesterday, get everything nice and wet, and then drop into the 30s overnight. We are at a really nice pond. I forget the name of it now. But so we had a cool tent site, but it was freezing overnight. Thankfully, we only have about 9 miles, very, very easy hiking, at least it appears to be, to get into Rangeley. Right there, that might be the place. All right, well, that was a successful town run. Went into Rangeley real quick, grabbed some food, did a quick little resupply, went to the outfitter, got some new trekking pole tips, and now back on trail. People there were super friendly, very hiker friendly. Hitching was super easy. And yeah, we're only gonna go like 2 miles, hit up a shelter or a cell site, not sure exactly yet. And then go ahead and call it a night. It's about 5 o'clock right now. We will be doing some big mountains tomorrow. After that, it should be relatively easy the rest of the way. Definitely a few more mountains, but the trail should start getting much, much easier in northern Maine. So really looking forward to that. Today, the trail's been really nice. Only a couple difficult sections, but yeah, great day today. Hopefully tomorrow is even better. Hey, good morning, everyone. So last night, I ended up camping by a pond. It was really, really pretty. And we ended up hanging out, having some dinner. We didn't make a fire, but definitely got all bundled up and stayed warm for dinner. It was a fun little night, fun evening with the group. But this morning, it's very, very cold. While I was in town yesterday, I actually did pick up, if you can't tell, a beanie and some gloves, which have been very, very warm. Glad I got those back. I had started with beanie and gloves in the beginning of the trail, but had sent those home. So just decided to pick up new ones, some real cheap ones while I was in town. But today's gonna be a big day. I think it's 15 miles. We gotta do like 6,000 feet of elevation up. We're gonna be hitting a couple 4,000 foot peaks, like 3 in a row, just bam, bam, bam. I think it's called the Saddleback range. So it's not gonna be easy, but it never is. All right, so I'm tree line, and as you can tell, it's very, very windy. It's a beautiful, clear day at least. So no fear of lightning or anything or storms, but boy, it's freezing cold. The wind is just whipping, but gorgeous views as you can see behind me. All right, so stopped at a shelter for a bit, had some lunch, warmed up a bit, and I'm now back on the trail. We got 8 more miles to go. It's a bit of a downhill and then one more climb up. Doesn't look that bad though. And today's been really a cool day. Feel good. The hiking's been beautiful. being above tree line, getting some awesome views. I just had a lot of motivation, been very excited to be out here. Feet are feeling good. So yeah, these are always the really awesome days I look forward to. Hopefully the rest of the trail's like this. You know, I got 2 more weeks left, almost exactly. I gotta start taking it all in, enjoying every last minute that I got out here. It's kind of sad that it's coming to an end, but hey, proud of myself. It's been a long journey. We're getting close. All right, so about 2 miles away from the campsite here tonight. Today was rather uneventful. There was a couple nice views in the morning when we went over the ridge, but the afternoon was just some normal hiking. We knocked out about 15 miles, or we will be going to knock out 15 miles, which I think we'll only leave like 12 more into town in the Stratton. So hopefully we'll get in early enough. We can do some laundry and shower and do our resupply. There is supposed to be a frost. There's a frost warning for tonight, so tonight might be a little bit cold again. So that's the unfortunate thing, but we should be able to get a nice hot warm shower tomorrow while we're in town. Hey, good morning everyone. So I ended up sleeping in the shelter last night, and it was a nice night, getting very, very cold. We're definitely down into the 30s. I don't believe it actually got below freezing, but very close. Today we're going to be doing about 13 miles. We got, I think, 2 or 3 4Ks that we got to summit. But then after that, we should be going into Stratton. Crazy thing is we only got like 1 more day of really tough up and downs. And then it's pretty cruisy to Katahdin, which is crazy to think. We're going to be passing through the 2,000 mile mark here today. And from there, we've got less than 200 miles to Katahdin to finish up. And I think those last 200 miles will go by very, very quickly. So it's wild to already kind of have the end in sight. It's been a long journey. It's been a fun one. We were reflecting on it in the shelter this morning with my group. And it's gonna be sad to see everyone go, but definitely excited to be done and to have this experience completed. Hopefully, we'll make it out again for the PCT next year. We'll see if that happens. All right, so I'm beginning my descent down to the Route 27 parking lot. Only a couple miles, and then we'll be able to grab our shuttle and get into Stratton.
Start calling you, so you get like the whole.
Yeah, if I have time, I'm gonna like do a food drive.
How many people